Welcome to the place where we learn about and learn from the leaders in our field who are powering creativity. I'm Aaron Dworkin, and this is Arts Engines. Thanks again for joining me here on Arts Engines. Today's guest is Afa Dworkin, President and Artistic Director of the Sphinx Organization. Afa, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Great to be here.
Well, obviously, this is one of the most special Arts Engines interviews I get to do. Obviously, I have had the opportunity to be able to see the extraordinary work that you do as an arts leader over so many years. So it is very, very exciting. And obviously, Sphinx, one of our great creative partners for Arts Engines. So what I thought would be great is there is a particular milestone coming up for Sphinx and basically about to launch. And so just wondering if A, you could share about that milestone and then just any of that kind of 30,000 foot impact that you feel Sphinx is having. And then I want to kind of delve into specifics about events that are taking place. But first, kind of the milestone and what do you see as kind of that breadth of impact and key impact Sphinx is having?
Yeah, great. Thanks for the opportunity to share that with the greater community. So, Sphinx, for those who may not know, is a global organization headquartered in Detroit, Michigan, with a mission of transforming lives through the power of the arts. Sphinx can be thought of as sort of an incubator and accelerator for artists and leaders, with a big focus on building equity as well as excellence. So, we're excited to approach this and build toward this milestone, the 30th anniversary. And what's particularly significant about it is that for the past 3 decades, Sphinx has been building programming ranging from literally placing instruments in the hands of young people for the very first time to seeing their careers blossom in the sphere of orchestral performance, solo performance, chamber music, but also now academia, as well as artistic leadership and administration, as well as entrepreneurship. So it's just such a privilege to watch the community of these artists and leaders blossom into a movement, really, and a larger kind of community of people who are shaping the face, the content, and the vision for our sector.
Well, obviously, truly extraordinary work. And to kind of have this type of milestone, 30 years, a lot of times organizations, and I'm sure we have many arts leaders who are watching, who think about how should we celebrate, whether it's a 1 year or 5 year or 50-year milestone, or potentially some other programmatic milestone. They might think, how, right? How do we do that? How do we capture that? So could you kind of share how is Sphinx kind of functionally looking at this, celebration and capturing of a unique moment in its history?
Yeah, there are so many kind of conventional and then more unique ways to mark a moment. This field loves anniversaries, and we certainly often see organizations mark a milestone through a signature event, and or sometimes it is about honoring someone. In our case, it's sort of a combination of various things. There are 3 signature events that are marking this anniversary. It is going to launch, the public launch of the anniversary is at Carnegie Hall on October 16th, coming up here in the fall. That is our 30th edition, and we will have our concert at Carnegie Hall, which will celebrate music by American composers throughout history, as well as those composers throughout history who have been inspired by the American canon from literally turn of the century onward until now. It's the idea there, we're thinking of this program and naming it as American Dialogues. And the idea there is to kind of share with our audiences, our community, how expansive, how diverse, and incredibly rich this canon is and has been, and also to celebrate kind of the up and coming voices and people who are writing and literally commemorating and or narrating America's history today. So we're really excited about it.
Awesome,
And
awesome. And everyone should join. And what's that date again?
it's October 16th,
Oh,
7:30, Carnegie Hall, pretty iconic.
awesome, awesome. So certainly hope everyone in the audience is able to join for that unique event. But sorry, you were also describing.
Yeah, so what's special about kind of the entirety of kind of the arc of the anniversary is that every one of the events programmatically celebrates an aspect of Sphinx's work that has been going on. And in this case, our premier touring ensemble, the Sphinx Virtuosi, an 18-piece, critically acclaimed, globally acclaimed ensemble of soloists that is self-conducted, is going to be our main presentation in the artistic feature. And then I want to highlight and say that we're so excited to have one of the alumni of our Sphinx Medal of Excellence program, Janae Bridges, multiple Grammy Award winning a vocalist who's going to come in and be our feature soloist in a seminal work that's marking and kind of being featured here as the anniversary program, which we're referring to as Declaration. It's a work by Damien Jeter, featuring Janae Bridges and with libretto and words written by our founder, Afa Dworkin. So it's a work not to be missed. It will sort of crown the program. We're also excited to feature Amran Almeida as one of our up-and-coming voices, who's going to join us. And that's a junior winner of the Sphinx competition of several years ago that's going to come back to Carnegie Hall to grace that stage. So a really exciting program there. Our next kind of signature event is going to be at our headquarters in Detroit, Michigan, which is
And
hometown
I just
Sphinx.
wanted to, sorry, just wanted to, as people kind of internalize the extraordinary programming, and I would argue very unique programming to be able to experience at Carnegie Hall. As part of that, you had also referenced kind of celebrating people and things like that. And so just wondering, were there any kind of components of that as well, part of what people might experience at Carnegie?
That's a great point and a great moment to capitalize on. We are also so proud to honor Delroy Lindo, an actor, an activist, and cultural icon in this country. We were going to be celebrating Delroy with a Lifetime Achievement Award on the stage of Carnegie Hall. Delroy has been a supporter of Sphinx and somebody who has understood and supported our mission for more than a decade. So we're just so thrilled to recognize him in this moment, celebrating Sphinx's 30th anniversary. So that's kind of another special feature for our opening signature event at Carnegie Hall.
Awesome,
Um,
awesome, awesome.
I should also mention that our second signature event is going to be held in Detroit, Michigan, and that's headquarters for Sphinx, and that's January 21st through 23rd. This is Sphinx Connect, our global convening, the largest and longest standing convening in the world that's dedicated to equity and excellence in our sector of performing arts. We're so thrilled to return to Detroit, and it is always coincidental with the Sphinx competition, which is sort of something we refer to as our signature motherboard program. It's the first program that Sphinx was launched with now more than 30 years ago. So the 30th edition of the competition will be held in conjunction with Sphinx Connect. And there, what's really special is that we're going to have more than 90 sessions and incredible speakers spanning professionals from around the country as well as across the pond. During our last edition, we had people from 7 different countries joining Sphinx Connect to kind of lend their voices to these conversations surrounding innovation, excellence, kind of lessons learned in the sphere of building what the next chapter of the performing arts will look like. And what's really, really special this year is that for the very first time, we're going to announce the recipients of the Sphinx Medal of Excellence in Detroit, Michigan during Sphinx Connect. So it will be a public moment to celebrate the most extraordinary, most talented and incredible leaders in our field on the stage of the performing arts, celebrating celebrate it right there in Detroit in our hometown. And we're really looking
So
forward to
cool.
that moment.
This is so, so awesome. And of course, everyone in the arts engines world, do think about already make your travel plans. And again, those dates were,
January 21st through 23rd. It is not too early to register. In fact, the early bird registration is out. I want to encourage you to visit us on Sphinx's website and go ahead and register and join us because those spaces do fill up, and it's an incredible opportunity to commune with and convene with the greatest mind in this sector.
awesome. And so you mentioned there were three.
Yeah, and finally, the closing kind of public moment for the anniversary will be the celebration of the Sphinx Medal of Excellence at a private venue in Washington, D.C. on the 3rd of March. So that will be the moment where the performances as well as the actual recipients will also be celebrated. At an event that's always kind of the one that marks our recipients and also has the opportunity to hear their performances. So these three signature events mark and bookmark the anniversary. I should also mention for many in the Arts Engines community that there are some really exciting and fun ways to get involved with Sphinx during the 30th anniversary. There are some new initiatives, including our national commissioning consortium that many might be interested in. There are ways in which one could get involved directly in a leadership capacity. There are levels in which one can get involved. There are also really exciting ways now to get involved with Sphinx Connect. If you have an idea and want to hang out with us and co-curate a session, for example, for Sphinx Connect, then there are ways on the website that describe joining us. If there are ways in which you might like to underwrite a session, for example, that's another way to do it. If you'd like to present a soloist, particularly in celebration of the 30th anniversary, and you may lead that area of work in an orchestra, there are ways to get involved with that. Everyone from presenting members of the community to other conveners, and of course, individual artists and arts leaders who would really like to celebrate this moment with Sphinx. There's a space for you, and we'd love to work with you. So go ahead and check that out on our 30th anniversary page on the sphinxmusic.org website.
Well, it really is extraordinary work, and having had the opportunity to see you lead these efforts as artistic director for over 30 years and as president and artistic director for over 10 years, it really is a extraordinary impact that it seems really is being celebrated during this unique year. So absolutely fantastic work. Hope everyone checks it out. And of course, also checks out the website. I always like to ask, unfortunately, we are just about out of time, but I always like to ask of all my guests. This work obviously is so rewarding for you. You can see the joy and fulfillment that you have in the work, but it doesn't mean there aren't tough days. And so just curious if you could share for our audience, are there any mechanisms that you use as a leader, as a creative leader, that help you get through either challenges that seem insurmountable or the toughest of times?
Yeah, a great question. I have always been a firm believer in the power of community. So for me, in my role, that has been the genesis of Sphinx since the beginning. It began with a singular dream of a singular person who quickly built a team. That team then quickly and continues to this day, continue to build the community that we lovingly refer to as La Familia. So there are times when things get challenging. Absolutely. I rely upon the counsel and perspective of my many colleagues, members of the Sphinx, greater Sphinx community, to hop on a Zoom, to hop on a call and talk through those challenges. And I'm always amazed and particularly inspired by the innovation and ideas, problem solving, and creativity that exists in our community. And I feel like no problem, no challenge, no obstacle has been insurmountable heretofore because of the power of that community and the creativity and the generosity with which people in our community are able to lend their ear and lend their perspective.
Afa Dworkin, you truly are one of the arts engines who is powering human creativity in our world. Thank you so much for everything that you do for the field, for Sphinx, for our art form. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for going on this incredible life journey with me together. It is the joy of a lifetime.
It is my honor.